Capital News tonight. Prime Minister Kassim Majaliwa sacks the Finance Director of Dar es Salaam Rapid Transit Agency, DART. Monkeys and apes from Nunus Maili Forest Reserve invade farms and residences in Rombo District, Kilimanjaro region. And in sports, Yanga Sports Club head coach Juma Mwambusi considers the match against Gwambina tomorrow will be a tough one. Capital News at 9:30. My name is Khadija Zimbwe. First, the national news. Prime Minister Kassim Majaliwa, today visiting the main DART Gerezani station, dismissed the Director of Finance for the Dar es Salaam Rapid Transit Agency, Susanna Stephen Chaula, from her position after being dissatisfied by her performance. Prime Minister Kassim Majaliwa, while touring the dry port in Ubungo, has also directed the customs manager at the Dar es Salaam port in Njaule Ndendu to ensure cargo at the port is released without delay.
Leta hapa na udongo wake, hakuna kusafisha, kuna swala usafi.
Moja ya kitu ambao maengineer wana
serious. Na imali fedha wananchi. Umeniambia matatizo ya magari haya ni gearbox. Na umeagiza gearbox na kuuliza hili ni gearbox. Na kama ukiweka hapa gearbox ndio litafanya kazi. Tumeona hata pia ununuzi wa tiketi.
We wanted to sell these tickets electronically. You have tempered and you want us to go back into selling manually. That is, the customer finds a pile of tickets aside, he buys those. The customer buys a card ticket at 8 a.m. when traveling in the afternoon. The seller comes in with his duplicate receipts. I asked the Director General how many buses did he buy. He said none because he has no money. There are many passengers and they travel every single day. How comes there is no money to buy new buses? From 2017, there were 140 buses to 85 buses on the road. We have no reason to keep people in the office if they are not working. The director is in the president's office. I leave it to the president, but I suspend the director of finance and order the minister to find another one. He has failed to advise the director general economically. There is no management or order. The money you say you have failed to buy new buses is lost. Continue doing it occasionally. We want to receive many more cargo. The cargo stays in such a long time in the port. Yesterday, as I was watching the news report, there is a lot of cargo and people are complaining. These cars, when they expire, they will be unsold and we will remain with worn-out items.
The Ministry of State in the President's Office for Regional Administration and Local Government has tabled her office's budget estimate for the 2021-2022 financial year for 7.6 trillion shillings, whereby she emphasized that disciplinary action will be taken against 53 directors whose councils have received poor reviews from this year's CAG report.
Mheshimiwa Spika, tumefanya uchambuzi wa taarifa hizi.
Honorable Speaker, we have analyzed these statements and we shall take 10 disciplinary actions to all the public servants who are the reason why their councils are having barred certificate. We have also analyzed some councils with satisfactory certificates from the CAG's report, so even those with satisfactory certificates will be put under investigation for further disciplinary action.
Moja, ofisi ya Rais TAMISEMI zisimamie kikamilifu.
TAMISEMI must make sure that these councils collect enough revenues. We have analyzed that many councils do not meet the targets. TAMISEMI should also ensure that councils set aside money for road projects.
Uchumi hauwezi kuufungua kama wananchi hawafikiwi na huduma ya barabara pamoja na kadhalika. Mheshimiwa Naibu Spika,
the economy cannot grow if there are no road infrastructures. Honorable Speaker, I would ask the government to look into the structure of Tarura once again.
Earlier, addressing members of Parliament, Speaker Job Dugai said that President Samia Suluhu Hassan will speak in Parliament on April 22nd.
Mheshimiwa Rais wa Jamhuri ya Muungano wa Tanzania,
Her Excellency the President Samia Suluhu Hassan will come here to address the Parliament as well as Tanzanians.
Kwa Mheshimiwa Rais atakuja kulihutubia bunge na kwa maana hiyo kuwahutubia wananchi wa Tanzania wote.
Groups of monkeys and apes from Nusu Maili Forest Reserve in Kilimanjaro National Park and neighboring reserves in Kenya have invaded farms and people's residences in Rombo District, Kilimanjaro region, causing destruction on crops.
Kwenye kata ya Kilongo Samanga, hawa wanyama wamekuwa ni waharibifu kwa kiasi kikubwa sana.
In Kiloko Samaka, a ward, these apes have been destructive at larger extent. They even managed to steal a baby and ran away. Residents in the area used a lot of techniques to rescue the baby. Not only that, the apes also attacked the child who was later on being taken care by the Ministry of Natural Resources. Honorable guests, this is a big problem in Kiloko Samaka. These apes are many and have become a threat to human lives. We are protecting animals for the benefit of people and not otherwise. Residents have played major roles in preserving the reserve. They now carry the expense of having a huge population of monkeys. May the responsible organs cooperate in taking these animals to national parks that are far away from human settlements. Through the apes, we earn foreign currencies that allows us to bring development in the country. What we are going to do is introduce sustainable removal of the apes to other parks. The President of the United Republic of Tanzania, Samia Suluhu Hassan, has sworn into office Yusuf Mdolwa Tindi as ambassador and appointed him as a chief of protocol at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and East Africa Cooperation at State House in Chamwino, Dodoma, in a ceremony attended by Vice President Dr. Philip Mpango and various government and defense and security leaders. President Samia Suluhu Hassan also met and held talks with the resident director of the World Bank, Mara Warwick, where she thanked the World Bank for continuing to play a key role in development of Tanzania.
And these are projects that all have many Tanzanians as beneficiaries. On rural roads to help the rural sector in the countryside to be able to connect to markets, to school, to be able to go to healthcare. We have a project to expand digital access in Tanzania. This is one that the President herself said she was very pleased to see happening, recognizing the importance of expanding digital access in the country.
For the first time, Jakaya Kikwete Cardiac Institute JKCI has conducted a transplant of coronary arteries without stopping the heart in an operation that took 2 hours under the supervision of a specialist from Max Hospital in India.
Transplantation of blood vessels. When the heart is beating, the patient stays shorter in the hospital, but also chances of complications becomes less. The patient stays between 10 to 14 days in the hospital, ready to be discharged.
For the first time, and it is a very good experience. I will say we had a lot of potential here. Nice surgeons, nice team, and a very hard and dedicated team. If we develop, and I'm sure they'll develop over the next few months or maybe 1 or 2 years, probably this will be one of the best centers in whole of Africa. And this is where we are striving for. We need a few changes. We need a few more infusion of techniques in this place so that we are able to do the complete spectrum of cases. We have to do minimally invasive. We have to do more difficult cases. We have to do off-pump. So all these are latest developments. And then comes the final frontiers, what we call as ECMO, heart transplant, and left ventricular assist devices.
We continue to do these operations for those patients who are fit without heart failure, There is a surgery to half open the chest, and it is called minimally invasive. We believe he will come again for that so we can move forward.
Yani kufanya minimal invasive inaitwa.
The 12 days lorry driver strike at Dangote cement factory in Mtwara region has ended after the management of the factory agreed to implement 8 out of 10 areas of concern raised by the drivers. The agreement was reached after the Minister of Industry and Trade and Minister of Investment visited the factory and held a meeting with the drivers.
Lakini pili, pande zote mbili, kwa maanisha nyie.
All the two parts, you and your bosses, should consider the contracts. Employment labor laws of Tanzania and other laws should be considered. If this happens, then we will work on it accordingly.
Wanatoa yo kwenu kupitia mikataba yao na Dangote.
At least 8 things they have been able to explain will be implemented, including the great inconvenience of notification. From now on, you'll not pay for notification regarding the quality of the cars. But if you have been phoned to do wrong, don't think Dangote or FOS will pay for anything.
You are a very strong part of our business model. I want to assure you that all the points agreed, we are going to implement them to the letter.
Moving on, some residents, including scholars, have expressed support for President Samia Suluhu Hassan in directing members of parliament to focus on discussions that are productive for the country and bring about development.
Mpasuko uliopo ndani ya bunge sasa hivi. Sasa hii athari yake ni kubwa kwamba yanapokuja masuala ya msingi katika masuala ya mijadala, kwa mfano hivi juzi kuna hoja za msingi ambazo zilikuwa zinatolewa kujaribu.
Division within the parliament results to some discussions fail to be debated. For example, discussion on evaluation of government projects. Instead of every speaker to contribute their opinions according to the agenda presented, they rather contribute according to which group they come from. We are waiting for Her Excellency Honorable President to address the Parliament by 22nd of April. Probably things will change. Again, due to a small number of opposition members of Parliament, we do not expect sensational or enthusiasm opinions.
Hawa ni watu ambao wamechaguliwa tukiwa tuna imani ni watu wenye hekima. Kwa hiyo wangejikita katika kujadili mambo yanayolihusu taifa. Nadhani ndicho hicho ambacho.
These are people that were selected by the people to protect interests of their voters. When MPs debate at the Parliament by mentioning certain names, honestly, they are not being fair to their voters. The impression that we get is that they have forgotten why they are there. As members of parliament, they have the responsibility of protecting government funds. They are one among the people who are paid very well in this country. We want them to deliver work that its value is equal to salary they earn.
Ni kweli kwamba haikuwa na afya kwa sababu mwisho wa siku.
The fifth phase government had their own time. It played its part and now it's over. It is time for the sixth phase government. There is no need of comparing scenarios or legacies set, but rather they should focus on building the nation.
Kama chombo cha wananchi kujadili masuala ya wananchi na kujadili hoja ambazo zitasaidia taifa kwenda mbele.
And that is the end of national news. International news follows next. Welcome back, and in international news. The Chadian army said on Monday they had killed 300 rebels who waged a major incursion into the north of the country 8 days ago, and that it had lost 5 soldiers. A heavily armed rebel group launched a raid from its near a rear base in Libya on April 11th, the same day the presidential election was held. The government has said that the rebel offensive in the provinces of Tibesti and Kanem was over. The police force in Kenya have been accused of using the coronavirus curfew to harass citizens after motorists who had violated the curfew were prevented from returning home and were forced to spend the night along various roads of Nairobi. The government of Kenya has imposed a curfew that starts from 8 p.m. and ends at 4 a.m. in the morning, being measures against the further spread of the coronavirus pandemic.
Tunatoka Isiolo, tumefika hapa saa 3:20. Tukasuiliwa eti hatuna barua, na barua yenyewe tulikuwa nayo lakini ni venye haikuwa na rubber stamp original. Wakasema ni fake, wakatusuia hapa.
Australia's Prime Minister Scott Morrison has announced a royal commission to examine suicides among serving and former military personnel, bowing to public pressure as the toll mounts among veterans. Here are more details. And that is the end of international news. Business news follows shortly after the break. We'll be right back.
Watch Business Edition as we talk to business leaders and experts in sectors that are transforming Tanzania's economy.
We believe that the driver is the customer.
To change the mindset of traditional HR to the digitalization.
Make sure that everybody can get some access to financial services.
And once we understand the vision of our leaders, we then need to be behind them and help them in achieving that vision.
Business have involved mercantile operations, trade guilds, or shared agricultural production, infrastructure, construction, financial sectors, tourism, and mining. Business Edition on Friday at 8:15 p.m.
Welcome back, and in business news tonight. NMB Bank has launched mobile phone insurance services whereby more than 2 million customers who use their mobile phones to make bank transactions will be able to benefit from the service.
Utakuwa unaweza kuwa na bima ya simu yako ya mkononi.
Through this new service, our clients will be able to get mobile phone insurance if they will be subscribers of NMB mobile services.
Bidhaa yetu inalipia gharama za matengenezo. Na gharama za matengenezo.
Our product also has service charges which goes up to 500,000 shillings from 1,000 shillings. We shall not include value of the phone. Our target is to ensure NMB mobile customers use the service at least once a month.
Kubwa ni mteja kuwa na NMB mkononi na kuitumia walao mara moja.
Implementation of the warehouse receipt system in Nantumbo District, Ruvuma region has helped to revive cooperative unions which had closed due to various reasons, a situation that has enabled farmers get more than 25 billion shillings from sesame farming in the region.
Warehouse receipts showed tremendous achievements in Ruvuma region. Many AMCOS groups were revived. Some of taxes will be taken to buyers and reduce the burden of levies to farmers.
The Chief Executive Officer of the Dar es Salaam Stock Exchange, Moremi Marwa, has said the trend shows that investors at the stock market prefer to invest in government treasury bonds in order to get bigger profits.
Kampuni ambayo ilichangia zaidi ilikuwa ni Vodacom.
Foreign investors invested much with Vodacom company, while domestic investors focused much on buying shares.
Na zaidi katika kampuni ya Vodacom na vile vile CRDB.
And that is the end of business news. Sports news follows shortly.
Away first time, good start from Bolt. Bolt leading a moment and going away. Gay trying to go with him, and he's going to be dragged through to second place, but he's going to win it by 2 meters. Away first time, good start from Bolt. Bolt leading a moment and going away. Gay trying to go with him, and he's going to be dragged through to second place, but he's going to win it by 2 meters. Opposition, Joaquinho, he did lose to Lynn.
And in sports news tonight, Yanga Sports Club head coach Juma Mwambusi says the match against Gwambina tomorrow will be a tough one as the league is heading to the end.
First, we thank God that we woke up well and the squad is in a good condition at the camp. As the coach, I see tomorrow's game as a tough one. We cannot judge Gwambina by their position on the table. No, the league is highly competitive this season and they are among good teams.
Tanzania Film Board is in the final stages of entering an agreement with a Refocus institution from the US in training film and sports stakeholders in the country.
I'm here to give you some great news today. We have a collaboration with the Tanzanian Film Board, and we're going to present an international award-winning Hollywood film producer and actress. Get ready, Tanzania. She's coming this Saturday for a master class. If you're interested in the arts, in the film, production, acting, this is a time for you to shine. Learn what it's all about from the best. An international film producer, actress will be here giving a master class this Saturday at 10 a.m.
Jose Mourinho has been sacked as manager of Tottenham Hotspur. Here's more on the story.
His position has come under increasing scrutiny following a run of form that has left Spurs dumped out of the Europa League by Dinamo Zagreb in humiliating fashion. Behind in the race for Champions League qualification, they sit 7th and generally performing poorly. Mourinho had also somewhat reverted to type by criticizing his own players and picking fights with opposition managers, but it was expected that the 58-year-old manager would at least get the chance to lead the side into the Carabao Cup final against Manchester City on Sunday. That will not be the case. In the statement, the chairman Daniel Levy added, Jose and his coaching staff have been with us through some of our most challenging times as a club. Jose is a true professional who showed enormous resilience during the pandemic. The assistant coach Ryan Mason will assume first-team duties and is expected to see out the season with support from Chris Powell.
UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson has promised the government will look at everything we can do to block a plan by 6 leading English football clubs to join a breakaway European Super League amid rising anger among politicians and fans over the idea. Here are more details.
Officials in the Department for Digital, Culture, Media and Sport are understood to be urgently examining possible options for preventing the scheme and looking at wider ideas to reform the governance of English football. While it remains unclear what powers ministers may have to impose change, possible options include action to stop the plan under competition laws or imposing club ownership structures with greater fan involvement. Downing Street has held opening the possibility of legislation to block the plan, with Johnson's spokesman saying the government was not looking to rule anything out at this stage.
The Mercedes team principal Toto Wolff has dismissed George Russell's suggestion that his crash with Valtteri Bottas at the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix was because of the Finn feels his future is under threat from the British driver. Here more details.
Wolff issued a stern rebuke to Russell and warned how the incident at Imola could have an impact on the championship ambitions this season for Lewis Hamilton and the team. Russell is a Mercedes junior driver racing for Williams and is considered highly likely to take a seat at his parent team in the near future. Last season, he stood in for Hamilton at the Sakir Grand Prix after the world champion tested positive for coronavirus. Russell was attempting to pass Bottas on the approach to Tamburello. He had to go to the right as Bottas legitimately defended, and in doing so put two tires on the wet line, causing him to lose control and spare into the side of the Finn at almost 200 miles per hour.
And that's what item ends our news bulletin for tonight. My name is Khadija Zimbwe. Thank you for watching and good night.
On various trending issues live on our social media platforms, on YouTube, Capital TV, on Facebook, Capital Television Tanzania, on Sunday at 9:15 p.m. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification.